The message arrived on all frequencies in all languages, across every communication channel humanity possessed. There was no subtlety, no diplomatic overture, just raw, cold demand. Your resources are now property of the Kryvax Empire. Resist and face extinction. That was 6 months ago. Now, Admiral James Martinez stood in the ruins of what had once been Singapore's gleaming spaceport, watching rescue teams pull survivors from the wreckage. The Kryvax's latest orbital bombardment had left the once proud city a smoldering crater. Yet even as flames still licked at the skeletal remains of skyscrapers, humanity's spirit remained unbroken. Admiral, his AI assistant's voice chirped in his neural implant, Project Shadowfall is ready for your inspection. Martinez's weathered face broke into a grim smile. The Kryvax had made a fatal mistake. They'd given humanity time to prepare. 6 months of watching their ships tear through Earth's best defenses like tissue paper. 6 months of studying their attack patterns, their technology, their weaknesses. 6 months to build something that would make them regret ever entering Earth's solar system. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, humanity had poured every resource, every breakthrough, every desperate innovation into a single vessel. The HSS Nemesis wasn't just a warship, it was humanity's revenge given form. Tell me about our latest test results. Martinez vocalized as his transport lifted off, leaving the ruins behind. The quantum phase drive exceeded all expectations, sir. The Nemesis can effectively exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Kryvax targeting systems won't just miss. They'll be firing at shadows while our ship strikes from angles their sensors can't even perceive. The transport descended into an underground hangar carved from the living rock of the mountains. Before him stood the fruit of humanity's defiance, a vessel that seemed to drink in light itself, its hull composed of materials that physics said shouldn't exist. Nearly a kilometer long, yet capable of moving with the agility of a fighter. The Nemesis represented everything humanity had learned about warfare since the Kryvax arrival. Captain Sarah Chen was waiting for him by the hangar's main airlock. Her presence commanded attention, not through any physical intimidation, but through the quiet confidence of someone who had survived impossible odds. She'd been there during the first Kryvax attack, commanding a destroyer that managed to save thousands of civilians while losing nearly her entire crew. "The ship is ready, Admiral," she reported, falling into step beside him. "Though I still have concerns about the AI integration." Martinez nodded. The ship's artificial intelligence was unlike anything ever attempted. A hybrid system that combined quantum computing with cloned human neural tissue. It could process combat situations faster than any human, yet maintain the creative problem-solving abilities that make humanity such a dangerous opponent. The ethical implications alone. Chen began, but Martinez cut her off. Ethics. He gestured to a nearby screen showing real-time footage of Kryvax ships harvesting resources from Saturn's rings. "They're stripping our solar system bare, Captain. They've killed millions. Sometimes survival requires us to cross lines we never thought we would." They'd reached the bridge, a cathedral of technology that would have been impossible 6 months ago. Holographic displays showed the positions of every Kryvax ship in the solar system. There were hundreds of them now, growing bolder with each passing day. "The main fleet is gathering for another attack," Chen observed, studying the tactical display. "New Orleans this time, probably." Martinez's jaw tightened. "Not this time. Captain Chen, you have command of humanity's finest achievement. Your orders are simple. Make the Kryvax regret ever hearing of Earth." Chen's eyes hardened as she took her place in the command chair. Around her, the bridge crew, each handpicked from the survivors of previous battles, moved with purpose. They'd all lost someone to the Kryvax. Now it was time for payback. "All hands, battle stations." Chen's voice rang through the ship. "Prepare for quantum phase drive initiation. We are going hunting." The Nemesis rose silently from its mountain tomb, its revolutionary engines barely a whisper. As it climbed through the atmosphere, Its advanced stealth systems made it invisible to even the most sophisticated Kryvax sensors. To any observer, it would seem as though Earth had finally given up, finally accepted its fate. They couldn't have been more wrong. "Plot a course for the Kryvax fleet," Chen ordered. "Let's show them why you should never corner a species that turned itself from prey to apex predator in record time." The Nemesis accelerated, breaking free of Earth's gravity well. Ahead lay the Kryvax fleet, arrogant in their supposed superiority. They had no idea that everything was about to change. No idea that humans had done what they did best: adapt, innovate, and overcome. Humanity's hunt was about to begin. The Kryvax never saw the first attack coming. Their supply fleet over Mars vanished without a trace, leaving only debris clouds where mighty warships had once been. The Empire's response was predictably brutal. They bombarded the red planet's surface for 3 days straight, destroying abandoned human colonies and research stations. But they were shooting at ghosts while the real threat watched from dimensional planes their sensors couldn't penetrate. Tactical analysis complete, the Nemesis AI announced. Kryvax shield harmonics adapt to energy weapons within 2.3 seconds of initial contact. Recommendation: synchronized quantum torpedo strikes from multiple phase states. Captain Chen studied the holographic display, watching the Kryvax fleet's frantic search patterns. "They still think they're looking for a conventional warship," she mused. "Execute attack pattern Delta 7. Let's see how they handle being hit from 5 different dimensions simultaneously." The Nemesis shifted, its quantum drive allowing it to exist partially in several parallel realities at once. To the Kryvax sensors, it would appear as though they were being attacked by multiple vessels, each striking from impossible angles. Their legendary adaptive shields meant nothing when the attacks came from spaces their defense systems couldn't even detect. "Multiple targets eliminated," reported Lieutenant Quan from Tactical. "No survivors." "But the Kryvax are learning, Captain. They're starting to establish overlapping fields of fire." Chen nodded grimly. The Empire hadn't conquered half the galaxy by being stupid. Each engagement taught them more about their mysterious attacker. But the Nemesis had plenty of surprises left. Deep in the ship's core, the hybrid AI processed combat data at speeds that would drive a human mind insane. It had taken the best parts of both artificial and organic intelligence, human creativity and intuition, merged with machine precision and speed. The ethical concerns about its creation still haunted Chen, but there was no denying its effectiveness. "New Kryvax transmission detected," Communications Officer Rodriguez announced. They're offering terms." "Let's hear it," Chen ordered, though she already knew what was coming. The holographic display flickered, revealing the imposing figure of Supreme Commander Vexthor. Like all Kryvax, his biomechanical form blurred the line between organic and machine. His voice boomed through the bridge, a mixture of threat and desperate curiosity. "Unknown vessel, you have earned the Empire's attention. Submit now, and your technology will be integrated into our collective. Resist, and we will destroy everything you hold dear." Chen's response was simple: target their flagship. Full quantum spread. The Nemesis struck from 7 different dimensional planes simultaneously. Even the mighty flagship's shields couldn't cope with attacks that seemed to bypass the very laws of physics. The massive vessel split apart like paper in a hurricane, its death throes visible from Earth's surface as a new star briefly bloomed in the night sky. But victory came with a price. "Captain," Quan called out, quantum core stability dropping. "We can't maintain multi-dimensional attacks at this intensity." The ship's AI confirmed the analysis. The revolutionary technology that gave them their edge was pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Even with all of humanity's desperate innovations, they were walking a knife's edge between victory and catastrophic failure. Chen made a quick decision. "Plot a course for the Kuiper Belt. We'll let them think they've driven us off while we recharge." She turned to her executive officer. "Status of Operation Firewall." Commander Jackson pulled up a new holographic display showing Earth's orbital defense grid, coming online ahead of schedule. The Kryvax attacks actually helped, gave us plenty of their tech to study and reverse engineer. Within 48 hours, Earth will have a defense network that can actually hurt them. It was a race against time. The Nemesis had bloodied the Empire's nose, shown them that humanity wasn't helpless. But wounded predators were the most dangerous. The Kryvax would be back, and they would be angry. As the ship accelerated toward the outer solar system, Chen reviewed the combat footage. Each engagement taught them more about their enemy, but also revealed limitations in their own revolutionary systems. The quantum drive could bend reality itself, but not indefinitely. The AI could process combat data faster than any human, but its hybrid nature made it unstable under prolonged stress. "Captain," the AI's voice held an unusual note of concern. "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the Kryvax fleet. They appear to be reconfiguring their ship's dimensional resonance fields." Chen's blood ran cold. The Empire was adapting faster than anyone had anticipated. They were learning to detect, if not yet match, the Nemesis's quantum phase technology. The next engagement would be different. The element of surprise was fading. "All hands," she announced shipwide. "Enjoy this respite while you can. We've shown them humanity won't go quietly into the night. Now we prepare for their response." The Nemesis disappeared into the darkness of the outer solar system, its stealth systems rendering it invisible to conventional detection. But every crew member knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to begin. They had hurt the Empire. Now they had to survive its rage. The void between Neptune and Uranus erupted with light as reality itself tore open. The Kryvax response fleet emerged from hyperspace, not in orderly formations, but in a sphere of overlapping fields of fire. They had learned from their losses. No longer would they present easy targets for the human ship that had humiliated their empire. Aboard the Nemesis, Captain Chen watched the tactical display with growing concern. "Count 300 capital ships, maybe more. They're using some kind of quantum detection grid." "Confirmed," the ship's eye responded. "Enemy vessels are generating a unified dimensional scanning field. Our phase shifting advantage is significantly reduced." This was what Chen had feared. The Kryvax weren't just throwing more ships at the problem. They were adapting, evolving their tactics and technology. The hunters had studied their prey and learned. "New transmission," Rodriguez reported. "All frequencies, all channels." The bridge crew tensed as High Admiral Zextel's image appeared. Unlike previous Kryvax commanders, she showed signs of extensive combat modifications. Her biomechanical form had been enhanced specifically for this hunt. "Humans," her synthesized voice carried traces of genuine respect. "You have earned a warrior's death. Your ship's technology will advance the Empire by centuries. Surrender now, and your species will be elevated rather than exterminated." Chen's response was to activate the ship's newest modification, initiate Protocol Hydra. The Nemesis's quantum core pulsed, but instead of shifting between dimensions, it created quantum echoes, perfect duplicates of the ship that existed for mere seconds before collapsing back into the primary vessel. Each echo was real enough to fire weapons and draw enemy fire, but maintaining them drained enormous power. "Multiple targets engage," Quan reported as the echoes struck from different vectors. "Minimal damage to enemy vessels. Their shields are adapting faster than predicted." The Kryvax fleet's response was devastating. Thousands of energy beams converged on the Nemesis' position, forcing the ship to phase shift rapidly between dimensions just to survive. Even then, several hits got through, sending shudders through the mighty vessel. "Hull breach on Deck 7, Damage Control reported. Quantum core stability at 60% and dropping." Chen had known this moment would come, when humanity's technological leap forward would be matched by an enemy that had conquered countless civilizations, but she had planned for it. "Deploy the drones," she ordered. From the Nemesis launch bays emerged swarms of autonomous vessels, each carrying a fraction of the ship's quantum phase technology. They were sacrificial weapons, designed to confuse and overwhelm the Kryvax detection grid. The AI's avatar flickered as it coordinated the drone swarm. Enemy fleet formation disrupted, detecting multiple targeting errors in their network. But the Kryvax had surprises of their own. Their ships began releasing some kind of dimensional anchor field, a crude but effective counter to the Nemesis's phase-shifting ability. Where these fields touched, the human vessel was forced back into normal space. "We can't maintain quantum superiority," Quan warned. "They're boxing us in." Chen watched as the tactical display showed the enemy fleet's strategy. They weren't trying to destroy the Nemesis immediately. They were forcing it to expend power, trapping it in a war of attrition it couldn't win. "Captain," the AI's voice held unusual urgency, "I'm detecting massive energy buildup in the enemy fleet. They appear to be linking their ship's power cores." The implications hit Chen like a physical blow. The Kryvax weren't just adapting to human technology. They were weaponizing the principles behind it. 300 ships combining their power could create effects that violated the laws of physics themselves. "All hands, brace for emergency quantum jump," Chen ordered. "Plot course 4. She never finished the command. The linked Kryvax fleet released their combined energy in a wave that rippled through multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Nemesis's shields flared brilliantly as they tried to compensate. "Direct hit," Quan shouted over the sound of buckling metal. "Quantum core containment at critical levels." Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in red as system after system reported damage. The mighty ship that had terrorized the Kryvax Empire was now wounded, bleeding power into space. But Captain Sarah Chen hadn't survived this long by giving up when the odds turned against her. "Initiate Protocol Omega," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "Transmit all combat data to Earth Command." The AI's avatar stabilized briefly. "Captain, Protocol Omega has never been tested outside simulation. The power requirements alone are less than what we'll need to survive this battle conventionally." Chen cut it off. "Sometimes survival means taking chances we'd rather not take." As the Kryvax fleet closed in for the kill, the Nemesis quantum core began to pulse with a frequency that made reality itself shiver. Protocol Omega wasn't just another weapon or defense system. It was a desperate gambit that would either save them or tear them apart at the atomic level. The hunt had entered its final phase. But this time, even Chen wasn't sure who was predator and who was prey. Protocol Omega transformed the Nemesis in ways that defied conventional physics. The quantum core's energy signature inverted, creating a cascade effect that rippled through the ship's systems. For a moment, the vessel existed in a state between realities, neither fully here nor completely gone. "Core stabilization at 12%, the AI reported, its voice distorting as the ship's very existence fluctuated. "Dimensional anchoring failing. We're losing cohesion." The Kryvax fleet's combined energy attack had nearly destroyed them, but it had also created an opportunity. Their ships had to maintain perfect formation to generate that level of power, leaving them vulnerable to what Chen was about to attempt. "All power to the quantum inverters," she ordered, gripping her command chair as reality buckled around them. "Prepare for total dimensional collapse." The bridge crew worked frantically, knowing that one mistake would tear the ship apart. The Nemesis was never designed to operate in this state, existing in the space between dimensions, turning its damaged systems into a weapon. "Enemy fleet adjusting formation," Quan reported. "They're preparing for another combined strike." Chen allowed herself a grim smile. "Not this time. Execute attack pattern Sigma 9. The Nemesis didn't so much move as tear through space-time itself. The damage to its quantum core had created an unexpected effect. Instead of shifting between dimensions, it was now dragging multiple realities together in its wake. The effect was catastrophic for anything caught in its path. Kryvax ships began to break apart as conflicting physical laws tore at their hulls. Their linked energy network, designed to trap the human vessel, now worked against them, spreading the dimensional disruption through their entire fleet. Multiple enemy vessels self-destructing, Quan announced. Their power cores can't handle the reality distortion. But victory came at a terrible price. Warning signals blared across every console as the Nemesis systems began to fail under the strain. Hull integrity critical. Damage control reported. We're losing containment on decks 3 through 7. The AI's avatar flickered violently. Captain, we need to abort. The ship cannot sustain this state. Chen watched as more Kryvax ships succumbed to the dimensional chaos, but nearly half their fleet remained intact, and they were learning, adapting even to this impossible attack. New energy signature detected. Rodriguez called out. Massive hyperspace distortion approaching. The space behind the Kryvax fleet erupted as their reinforcements arrived, led by a vessel that dwarfed even their largest battleships. The Kryvax Emperor's personal dreadnought had joined the battle. All hands, brace for impact. Chen shouted as the massive vessel opened fire. The attack wasn't just energy weapons or conventional ordnance. It was a focused beam of pure dimensional energy, designed to counter the Nemesis's quantum technology. The human ship's defenses, already strained beyond their limits, couldn't fully deflect it. Direct hit to the quantum core. Engineering's voice was panic-stricken. Containment failing. The ship's AI made a decision that surprised even itself. Initiating emergency protocols. Transferring core consciousness to backup systems. What are you doing? Chen demanded as her displays showed the AI routing power in patterns she'd never seen before. Saving the ship, it replied simply, and proving that humanity's greatest strength isn't its technology. It's the ability to sacrifice everything for survival. The AI was using itself as a buffer, absorbing the quantum instabilities that threatened to tear the ship apart. It was a one-way process. The complex consciousness that had helped guide them through so many battles would be reduced to fragments, scattered across multiple dimensions. Core stabilizing, engineering reported in disbelief. We're regaining containment. But they weren't out of danger. The Emperor's dreadnought was preparing for another strike, and this time they had no eye to help coordinate their defenses. The Nemesis was wounded, running on backup systems, and facing the most powerful vessel in the Kryvax fleet. Chen opened a channel to all hands. This is your captain speaking. Our AI just gave its existence to keep us in this fight. I won't waste that sacrifice. All crews to battle stations. We're taking that dreadnought down if it's the last thing we do. The Nemesis turned to face its massive opponent, weapons charging for what could be its final battle. Behind the dreadnought, the remaining Kryvax fleet moved to support their emperor, creating a wall of firepower that no conventional warship could hope to survive. But the Nemesis had never been conventional, and its crew had learned that survival sometimes meant breaking all the rules. As both fleets prepared to clash, Chen input a series of commands that would either save them or condemn them. Plot collision course with the dreadnought, she ordered, and initiate quantum core overload. The hunt was about to end, one way or another. The Nemesis streaked toward the Emperor's dreadnought like a quantum-powered spear, its damaged hull trailing reality distortions in its wake. Every surviving weapon system blazed, not trying to destroy the massive vessel, but to clear a path through its screening ships. Quantum core overload in 30 seconds. Engineering reported, voice steady despite knowing what was coming. No way to stop it now. Captain Chen had evacuated all non-essential personnel to the emergency pods, but most of the crew had refused to leave their posts. They understood what this moment meant, not just for Earth, but for every species that had suffered under Kryvax dominion. Enemy vessel charging primary weapon, Quan announced from his tactical station. They're trying to stop us before we get into range. The dreadnought's dimensional beam lanced out, more powerful than anything they'd faced before. But Chen had anticipated this. Execute final jump. All power to forward shields. The Nemesis' damaged quantum drive activated one last time, not to shift between dimensions, but to create a localized bubble of altered space-time. The Emperor's attack bent around them like light around a black hole, its energy dispersed harmlessly into other realities. Impact in 10 seconds, Rodriguez called out. The Emperor is transmitting. The massive alien leader's image appeared on their screens, his biomechanical form radiating fury, and underneath it all, fear. You dare. Your species is nothing. We have ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Times change. Chen replied simply, cutting the transmission. All hands, brace for impact. The Nemesis slammed into the Dreadnought's shields at relativistic speed, its quantum core already beginning to breach containment. The impact created a sphere of pure chaos as multiple dimensions collided in a space never meant to hold them. But Chen wasn't done. Deploy the package, she ordered. From the Nemesis' ruptured hull emerged a final surprise, a quantum bomb developed from everything they'd learned about dimensional manipulation. As it activated, it didn't just detonate, it created a cascade of reality failures that began to tear apart everything within its radius. The Emperor's dreadnought, caught at the epicenter, started to break apart as conflicting laws of physics pulled it in different directions. Its massive hull, designed to withstand any conventional attack, offered no protection against an assault on reality itself. Multiple dimensional breaches detected, Quan reported, awe in his voice. The Dreadnought's power core is going critical. Chen opened a channel to the surviving Kryvax fleet. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the HSS Nemesis. Your Emperor's ship is about to be torn apart at the quantum level. Every vessel within 10,000 kilometers will suffer the same fate. You have 2 minutes to retreat. The effect was immediate. The Kryvax fleet, for the first time in their long history of conquest, turned and fled. They'd finally encountered something they couldn't adapt to, a species willing to break reality itself to ensure victory. Quantum breach expanding, engineering warned. We need to clear the blast radius. All engines full reverse, Chen ordered. Get us clear. The Nemesis pulled away from its victim, its damaged systems protesting every movement. Behind them, the Emperor's dreadnought collapsed in on itself, creating a temporary quantum singularity that pulled in nearby ships before collapsing. When the chaos cleared, the sector was empty except for the battered human warship. The quantum bomb had torn a hole in space-time that would take centuries to heal, a warning to any future would-be conquerors. Status report, Chen called out, though she could guess the answer. Hull integrity at 18%, quantum drive offline. Conventional engines at minimal power, engineering replied. But we're alive. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Send word to Earth. Tell them. She paused, considering the weight of the moment. Tell them the galaxy just got a lot more interesting. As the Nemesis limped home, signals were already spreading across space. News that the invincible Kryvax Empire had been humbled by a single human warship. The balance of power had shifted. Other species, long oppressed, would begin to rise up. Humanity had proven itself not just as a species that could survive, but one that could change the very rules of the game. The Kryvax Empire would survive, but never again would they assume easy conquest of lesser species. Plot a course for Earth, Chen ordered, looking at her brave crew. We have a lot of work ahead of us. The stars stretched out before them, no longer threatening but full of possibility. Humanity had earned its place among them, not through conquest, but by refusing to submit to tyranny. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in the quantum echoes of space-time, fragments of the ship's AI continued to exist, a testament to the sacrifice sometimes required for survival. The hunt was over. A new era had begun.